Let's see if there is a me. I see a me. I see a little bit of delay. And I think that's about it. Okay. Looks like we're good. F5. Yay, anxieties. Hmm. Just a second. Let me see which window. Sure. Let me copy my link. Too many windows open.
Hi. There you are. I don't know why I didn't think that I could just do that. just click through it on Twitch. Okay, no worries. No worries. Yeah, no worries. Hang on one second. Let me get you guys rated in. No problem at all. Now I do have you all. So that should work. And there we go. There we go. Okay. Let's drop in. No, you're not a noob.
Hello. There we go. Thank you much. Thank you much. Lovely stream. I'm hoping audio is working. Can you hear me? Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Wandering Trader Head of streams. It was a goat last time. Last time it was a goat, and I did not take the size of the goats into consideration when I was pushing it around on my mine carts, and so I killed the goat. And then the next day, when they were streaming, I saw there was a whole pile of goats, backup goats, and I said, they noticed I killed the goat. So, so yeah. Chickens. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's too many chickens. All right, thank you so much, Baron, and I appreciate it. And I guess I'm carrying us on. It looks like Mythical Moon is going to be. She is not feeling well, and so I think it is just going to be little old Shmoo for the end of the stream. It is. What time is it now? It is 10. And so that should carry me to midnight in my time. And yeah, let's go ahead and head over to my base. Do do do. Okay. So it has been quite some time since I last streamed, so we have made it to the next season, and we're in Luminaria. It is a little rainy out, but this is my spaceship. It is not modeled off of anything in Star Wars or etc., but it's just a design that I started putting together. I still have to put in the magma blasters in the back, but whenever it is nighttime, it turns on these little. They're supposed to be sort of vertical thrusters, and there's a sort of Knight Rider kind of light sequence on the front. Let me see how the video is looking. Okay, video's not looking too bad. So at nighttime, it does this nice little bouncy, and it opens up the magma underneath, and it lights on the inside, and there's a little blinky in the front. I've been working on this model for just a couple months. Took a break on it just to do some other stuff, because what I noticed is last season, I think the library sort of burnt me out, and I noticed in the world download there's a bunch of little things I was like, oh, I thought I did that. I thought I did that. I thought I did that. So it's nice to sort of have a fresh start and to have multiple things to do. Oh, and we get a lovely rainbow in Luminaria now that it's stopped raining. This is the Eastern City on the network. And actually, you know what? I don't think I can see chat here. There we go. Ghosts will come back at some point. Yeah, I just realized I'm not going to see chat there. Let me adjust something for 1 second. And need to move that so I can read anything that is coming in. Okay, I think we're good. So welcome to Luminaria. This is a small city compared to the others. I think what is it, Kashi Cove and Nabaqua. They're fairly big. They have a lot of people in them. Luminaria has, I would say, 3 or 4 of us. Miss Kakapo is over here. She's been taking some time off. Zeppelin Mage made there's a collapsed AT-AT up there, and I believe they both were working on the farm system inside of the mountain. But let's actually go up there to the Welcome Center. This is the first place that you would come to when you go through the portal. So I left the roof here open so that you can just fly out. It still leaves the snow. It might be worth covering it because the windows are already open on the side, and I've had a few zombies fall in the top, and then they make their way in, and then they've zombied all the villagers a couple times, but we have just about all the Fletchers. I think there's only 1 or 2 that we're missing. We have a train network that gets you back to downtown, and most of the trading and inventory stuff is down here, where I've been putting together some emergency recovery packets, and we just got some more generic traders. All the villagers that I put in here have been cured and healed. So if anyone has any comments about audio, what the audio level is like, go ahead and let me know if it's too loud or quiet. So yeah, so there is a item filtering system that's running through here, and it's actually passing across the top to this other side. Zeppelin set that up for us, so that is very nice. We'll see the farm underneath when we take a little minecart tour. But this is an area that I think if anyone, I'm not spoiling it, but he made a massive, massive Star Trek Voyager or Star Trek Voyager, yes. Um, but it's not in this area. It was fairly far from here, so there's not. Uh, it, Most of his work was not here. I was going to give this area for him to put down. I think he wanted an X-wing, um, but I'll let him recover. I understand what burnout is, but this is the view of the town. This is my burnout. We'll take a look at the power plant and such, and all the tubes and things in a little bit. Actually, here, let's just go ahead and take a minecart ride to downtown. We're going downtown. In terms of music and whatnot, I'm still figuring out the whole Twitch rules and copyright whatnot. So it's probably just going to be faint in-game music. I don't know that it's actually hearable. I think that should do it. But here is our transport system. And I love minecarts. It's my preferred method of travel. It requires the least amount of thinking. You just hop in and wait until it gets you to your destination. And so you can stretch and recover. And so this is the blue line. Takes us to a little tower. And once we are here, we drop down. And we head out. I just want to check the audio here, just a second. Okay. Yep. So that, I still need to style up those little stations, but this was sort of an ideal spot to fit the subway. We had already started putting like some buildings down. Originally, pretty much all these buildings are just random things that I put in place. But we had some farms. We moved the farms from here into the mountain, and we will take a look at that in a little bit. We have 2 trial chambers in this town. This is going to be a rail line to the one that is partially under Miss Kakapo's base. I'm not going to do any spoilers on her place. She has a nice little... I forgot the name of the storyline that her build is from. It's a book, and I don't know that it has any like cartoon or movie implementation, but I just saw some of the pictures of the ship, and I was thinking it was like Red Dwarf or something, but it's a whole different storyline. So this white tunnel is going to be our sort of scenic route that takes you through a tour of the whole area. And this little symbol here is actually the name Luminaria. L-U-M, in the middle is I-N, and at the bottom is A-R-I-A. As Miss Cockpo pointed out, it looks like a running, screaming alien. And I said, yeah, this is a really neat shape. So I put this in as sort of our town. It's not the center of town, but it's a nice sort of, I don't know, town center, if you will. I kind of thought of this building as the city hall, but really all the buildings are effectively just generic alien shapes that I was trying to do stuff that just doesn't look like a regular Minecraft build. I was really trying to go for some unique shapes. Here, let's pop out and see. So, yeah. Really just trying to go for stuff that you might see in some sort of sci-fi or just non-traditional shapes. Cabin core is lovely and all, like if you're going to do the whole thing like that, but I don't know. I think like my reservation about I put in these brick buildings, I haven't finished that one, but I was like, well, they look, you know, like Western brick buildings. They just look like regular human buildings. Let's make sure that things look non-human. Um, so yeah, so the objective, this is, I call this the people maker. This is person maker, person maker. This is a villager farm, or not farm, but breeder. And so we have a minecart that deploys and takes us down to a zombie named Bruh down here. He is Bruh number 2. And so that is our zombieing utility. That's usually where I heal them. And once you send it back, then this minecart line will take the villager up through the green line, which goes through the mountain and then comes up and will deliver them into the villager zone. So this is really just a utility line. It doesn't, you don't really travel through that one yourself, though that may change. I think it would be nice to repurpose that later once we've fully populated all of the villagers for the main trading hall. So that's the green line. The white line is still under construction. It sort of wraps around the whole mountain, goes through the mountain, and then comes back out through the bottom. I'm probably going to have, when you get onto the white line, I would like for it to go under and come up, run past, and maybe around the far side or the near side of Miss Kakapo's base. I'm not sure which she would prefer. I don't want to. I always have reservations about starting to build stuff in and around other people's things, so I just sort of have some anxieties. But she has a lovely little entrance way. I think we're gonna make this a road that comes over, and we'll see. We'll see what this layout here ends up looking like. Again, I sort of built most of this stuff closer to my base just because I'm more comfortable building there. I was thinking that we could do sort of a row of maybe tough sort of apartments, like a townhouse row. Maybe a slight cartoonish. I don't know if there's some alien cartoons that might have some build inspiration, but I just outlined a spot for 3 or 4 little tough buildings. And we'll discuss the egg in a minute. But yeah, so a lot of this stuff I put together with a little bit of creative mode and then design the models. This, for some reason, I just think radio station or broadcast studio. For some reason, that's what this building sort of evokes to me. I think it's not that big on the inside, so there's really not too much room in the base of it. One of the things I noticed, my habit is that I make the tops of the buildings a little bit bigger than the base of them, so they all sort of have I like the idea of it being, most buildings just aren't like this. I made the red thing when I was very angry. This is the angry room. This is the purple experience. I don't know why, but I find it very, very soothing to just sort of stare off into the infinite purple corner. I don't know, and it's not even really like that great of a room or roof or anything, but I just find that very satisfying. It's like calming. It's like experience the purple. And the blue one, I still got to put a roof on it. I didn't quite like the grate sort of slots that are in that side, but I was thinking that this blue one probably needs to have a nice covering as well. This is the elevator that takes you to and fro the city. And it's got little blinky lights that trigger when you depart or arrive. This is where I just decided we're just going to do town center here. We're probably going to have maybe one or two, one building tucked in here and maybe another, a long one, maybe one that has just some width to it, like an apartment block or something might be interesting. Uh, Again, I was just looking for things that are just not buildings you'd normally encounter. So um, anything that just sort of had a blobby or round, um, circular shape and such, I found interesting. The egg. So this I put together using some Python script. We're going to cover a little bit of that later and see what MineScript is. If anyone out there has used it before, I don't know that you can run MineScript commands when you're on a multiplayer server. Um, oh, public warning announcement. Um, Take your neck seriously. I injured my neck very badly, and it's taken a very long time for um, for it to even get paid attention to. And so yeah, so I'm currently holding a disc in place with a leather belt and some cardboard tubes. This is not an inappropriate kind of thing. It's just what I medically have to do to keep my head attached properly. so, um, so yeah. So this egg shape, um, I put together using a Python script and asked it to do a spiral. I've just sort of been addicted to spirals. I really like. It's a hard thing to get right by hand. So when you get it mathematically, like actually like clean and such, it really looks pretty because it looks very challenging. But you know, I'm just cheating. I'm cheating with some math script. In fact, here let's turn the filters off just so you can see without shaders. Um, I'm not sure that I coded the light blue. I know the dark blue um, is what I had it place, and then I think I just chose to surround that with the light blue. So that was nice. Um, and then in the center, if you just put a light source, I might make that an invisible light source. I don't know. The light source really makes all the glass glow very nicely. So again, a lot of these buildings are just decorative. We don't have too many residents or visitors. We're the old people in the East City. All the young whippersnappers are off in the West. Um, but these are just sort of a standardized lighting, sort of street lamp kind of thing. Um, Now, the theme of this particular city uh, is a sort of combination. In the, I think the mods, as they intended it, it was going to be sort of city of 1,000 planets. Um, Baron, or not Baron, Zeppelin Mage really wanted to do Echo Base. And I was like, I don't really know that much about the lore of Star Wars, so sure. um, but he was off making the Voyager, and so I just took the liberty of applying some, again, round buildings. I think round is interesting in Minecraft because it's like the complete opposite of what they give you. Everything's a cube, so of course make it round. Um, this light gray tunnel is the one that goes directly to my base. So I think we have 4 or 5 lines. The white one, the blue one, the gray one, and the red one. Oh, and the green one, but we don't really ride that one. So yeah, so that's just sort of a little view of the town. This tower is a model that I had made, I think, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, on a different SMP. And this is just part of that building structure. It was, so it had basically four of these, and each of them sort of made a corner of a kind of fortress. And I just liked the idea of changing from a square at the base to a circular shape progressively, so it's not just, cuts off and becomes um, a cylinder. I wanted like each of the corners to sort of give way to a little tree balcony and then decorate them as such. I still have to put some glass in a bunch of these windows and figure out what in the world we're going to do with this interior. But it would be nice to have some villagers like walking up and down like a staircase in there. I think that might be neat to have like some employees. Maybe make that like the port office building or something, because it's sort of got the flavor of like a port city, a sort of docking station, if you will. So this is my sort of bridge and such, and this is my power reactor. Now I don't know if it's the whole town's power reactor. I don't know, but now here's some of the failings. I really don't like this building. I put the orange and yellow and red stuff in, and then it just instantly made me not like the whole thing. So I'm probably going to take that this color out. It's too bright. It just doesn't really mesh with the feel of alienness. I was kind of hoping that it would be that it would grow on me, that I would, oh, come on, there we go. I was hoping that once I started decorating it a little, I would like it more, but the more I started putting on it, the less I liked it. So I'll probably at some point try and replace that color. Probably with Tuff. I don't mind. Tuff is a beautiful new brick. I like this building's texture a lot. And so I'll probably do something kind of similar for that one. But actually, so let's take a quick, do I have, I don't have a mine cart. We'll go ahead and head over to my base first, before I try and run us through the town tour. But here, oh, what in the world? Okay, I must have dropped an emerald in there. So here, this is the line that goes to town, and I wanted it to weave in and out of the buildings. Like here, it actually goes under part of this building, and I want to put maybe some light and effects in there. I just wanted it to be a nice immersive alien city kind of environment. This is the insides of the reactor, and then we come over to the ship, and here we are going to be dropped in to the minecart network here. And so when we are a passenger, we get dropped off in the front ship cockpit area. I'm working on maybe a different pattern. This looks more like a flag than a computer screen. I was trying to come up with something that looks like, a terminal with lines and, info boxes, something appropriate for a spaceship, interface of some form. I don't know if there's tricks or methods of maybe expanding a map or something, like custom map art. I don't know, or I think custom banners you're pretty much limited to the shapes in there, but I don't know. Sometimes you can get away with stretching map art a little bit beyond. It would just be nice if I could angle them like this, because I like that these can be angled. So that screen is off, and this one is just sort of, maybe I think if I had gone with a dark blue instead of the cyan, that might, or dark blue lines or black lines or something. Or possibly just flip the direction so the lines are on that side and the charge is on the other side. But this is the main interface for the travel destination systems. So I can get to the shopping distance or shopping district from here. I can get to the mainland. I have another entrance, and then here is a storage system that lets me choose what items I want to select from. And I use slot number 15 to sort of store mobs. Like I could put villagers into this and then keep them as like a spare cured villager if I quickly needed a different villager. But this is fetch, and this will pull that particular minecart. And so here is my stone and cobble. And when you send it back, you can change to a different item before it gets there, and it remembers, it locks in. Oops, oh, poop. Poopums. Let's see, there we go. Ugh, it's not closed yet. There is a locking mechanism so that once you've selected the destination, the minecart will go to the destination regardless of what you change the selector to. So once it goes in, then it unsets it, and then you can. So this way you can send something back and not have to wait for it to get back before you fetch something else. So now I can fetch redstone. And I could have fetched that immediately after sending something. But just a fair warning about this design is it takes a few seconds for this information to propagate to the actual selector. So make a selection and then count to like 3, count 1, 2, 3, and by then the comparators that send this signal all the way down should be set. So here, let's see, glass blocks are all ready glass blocks. Now, it's 2 separate minecart networks, but if you throw this lever, you can now receive and send items from the storage off to the network. So I could ship my objects off to, let's say, the shopping district or the mainland, or if I had another destination. I haven't connected too many of them up yet. Then when this is thrown, by default, everything that comes in to the ship will be directed to whatever storage place that you've put. So instead of dropping you off in the front, it'll put you in there. Now, even with this lever off, if you have a chest minecart and you've sent it onto the network, that chest minecart, if it has items in it, not if it's empty. If it's empty, it will get broken and just get gathered like a regular minecart. But as long as you have stuff in it, this system will detect that and automatically send it over to here. So you can sort of forward ship. You can forward your luggage ahead of you on the minecart rails, and once it gets here, you pop out the front and your minecart is sitting right there ready for you to do something with it. And so here is, let's see, this is spot number 4. I'm just going to deploy myself. And there, this is now going to take me automatically through a little selector. And here, I'm going to come out to my nether port. Now I do hope, I really do hope that I did not make this too close. That would very much make me sad if I had to shift the whole thing back. That would just be sad. um, but yeah, so this is the layer of the electric Shmoo. It just pops you out, and once you hop in, it will send you off and deploy a new minecart. And so here we come back in through. I was so happy to find that the the nether portals remember what location you're at. Oh, there we go. Thankfully, it remembers what location you're at, um, so they can be right next to each other. So this line goes to the shopping district. This one goes to that little entrance, and I have room for 3 more. I might make maybe an express line to each of the other cities. I'm not really sure. Haven't really decided. But yes, the storage and selector system is the flat portion. I'm using it kind of as a barrier. It's a floor. And I just liked that it looked like a circuit board from above. It's pretty when it changes which item you're fetching from. And I made the whole decision to have a minecart selection system after I made the shape and size of the ship. So I had sketched out an initial shell, at least like the size, and that was based on the island of the world. I don't tend to try and just put a thing in Minecraft. I usually let the terrain decide what will go best there, and so I went with it's not that big of a ship, but the issue with this was I needed something flat, and all of the different storage systems that I found, they were all, everyone makes it for their own shape, and most of them are just big boxes. This, I needed it to be like less than 6 blocks thick and handle shipping and receiving. So, so I've enjoyed putting that together. There's 2 lines of it that are going to go out this way, and then the top one is the return. So I'm going to put just some general miscellaneous personal farm items out here, like bees. I have a sphere for bees, and I don't know if people are going to let us sleep. It's not major, but once night starts hitting, these lights start turning on. I prefer all of my base to be self-lighting in terms of like during the day. Ah, here we go. So as night kicks in, these lights start to turn on, and also on the top. It's kind of pretty. The smiley face, if anyone recognizes that, that is the window from my library last season, and we are going to visit ScarWorld6 on my server just for a little minute or two, just so you can see where some of these things are coming from in terms of the design. These doors do not yet close. I haven't decided what to make them close. It sort of makes like a golden eyeball, like a golden pupil in the middle, and I really liked that, but I don't know if it should be... I like being able to just fly through here without having to open the door, because down here we have a more secure door, and they're fast. I mean, it's a nice, secure, fast door, and it's got a nice delay, but sometimes you just want to fly through the door, and that one you're not going to be flying through. So I haven't decided. I think it could be just walking, or I might put some pressure plates somewhere on here and have a skulk sensor use a particular, like the redstone detection signal to trigger it. Not sure. Really haven't decided. I'd rather you not have to. I mean, if it could just do it when you approached, that would be nice. But the other issue is that if you interrupt it or send it the signal again while it's opening and closing, I suspect that will break it. Um, we have a little note about some broken stuff on the library that I made last season. One or two things did not quite survive the world download intact. I think there was the main issue is that I had all this redstone daytime, nighttime triggered, and I'm quite certain whoever was having to do the, you know, conversion or the check or whatever, all the many things I'm sure they have to do to make the world downloadable. I suspect they either skipped the day or flipped it back to nighttime, or flipped it back to daytime, and that probably messed with some of the door triggers. So um, it doesn't really bother me. I by the time we got to the end of last season, I was kind of done with the library. I was like, it's burnt me out. So I'll spend a little time this year just fine tuning some bits of it. This is the other magma blaster. Um, so at night, the idea is this. So I still need to run a control line off to the back, and that would be good. I don't know that we'll do that today. I think we're just going to do some looking around. I would like to show you guys some of the scripts that I'm using to generate some of the shapes. And I probably need to put in a conduit fairly soon because there's just so many Trident fellows. Yesterday I was accosted by 3 baby drowns with tridents, and that was terrifying. They're fast. They're fast and they're little, and they're cute for about 3 seconds until they stab you. So, so yeah. So I still have some. I'm not sure where these. They're probably spawning over here. I don't have any torches on me. I do not. I'll grab a couple. We have a little coiled reactor, some sort of thing that does some glowing up here. And I love the detector, or the redstone ore detection aspect of observers. If you put an armor stand on a block of redstone ore, it triggers random pulses. And so I'm using that to sort of flip these copper bulbs around. And so because, you know, to automate anything or animate is always a challenge in this game. And this gives you a way to sort of just have a little bit of randomness that's randomly triggered. There's another place up here. Oops. Now that's fine. So yeah, so we have some ore and observer and copper bulbs mixed in. And just as time goes along, it will randomly change the glow. Let's see if filters off gives any other effect. You know, Murphy's Law says we're not going to see them change because we're trying to see them change, and a watched pot never boils. Holy cow. You. Who? Who is tridenting? Jeez. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so from afar, of course it won't do it, right? Yeah, from afar, every now and then the colors and the lighting inside sort of change around on their own. And I'm using some pistons with some magma, and it's the same idea. These are triggered by invisible armor stands. I think I made them invisible. No, we're just too far for them to render. So these are just toggling the lava on and off, and that gives it a sort of changing appearance over time, and I like the way that looks. I started pushing the inside and digging in to the mountain a little bit more. I kind of regret the hanging lights. I probably wanted them further in, but they are where they are. They are where they are, and they look just fine. So, so I also have some farm. Are we done? Are you done? No, you're not done. Um, yeah, so there's just some farms for some nether wart and furnace machine. Uh, the retractable gantry, I guess you would call it. Um, that was a nice and fun design to put together. I was like, I want something accordion like. I want a thingy that extends out to the ship, and then I said, but that I also need a way to walk up to it. So instead of just using this as a walkway, it's just the minecart line, and over here, I'm sort of using this as a goodness, as just a traditional sort of walkway, but making it sort of a bunch of dangling, like individual panels. So it looks like, well, this was originally where the wall was, so I do need to figure out some sort of like crane or lever shape. I guess some sort of, I don't know, retractable shape that I could put up against the wall to sort of show that these should fold up. That these are just sort of folded down while deployed. Man, he's busy. Are you done? Did you die? Please. Okay, anyways. Yeah, this station, port, dock, whatever it is, I've enjoyed making it. I started to get a little concerned that I just didn't know how to connect the top up and everything, and I just decided I need to just trim back the main landscape, and I'll probably add some more building back here. In the model, I also didn't really have any significant supports. I had been doing a full encased glass, and you couldn't appreciate the torus, the twisting torus inside. And we will look at how I made the twisting torus in the second half of this video. But yeah, it was just all one big glass enclosure, and what I think I'm going to do is extend this out onto whatever sort of building is here, and then I think it'll look more connected, because right now it's just sort of hovering, and I'm just not comfortable with the hovering of it. I feel like it needs some structural support to go along with this. But yes, this torus was computed using Python. I could not possibly have gotten this as perfect of a spiral as it is. And in fact, this little radar dish and this one are also Python scripts. So it's got little trig functions to actually get the shape right, because every time I tried to make it, it just looked derpy by hand, and I couldn't really come up with a way to make an actually round and semi-small dish. I didn't want huge dishes. I mean, I might put something bigger up here, facing another direction. But I just wanted some simple little radio dishes. And yeah, and just every time I tried to do it by hand, it was just an absolute. It was a blob of goo. So these are not weapons. These are not weapons. Mods, thank you. These are asteroid encouragers. They move asteroids out of the way. I'm actually putting wind charges in them, and they are going to be launchable. Unfortunately, it's all going to be at poor Miss Kakapo. um, I don't think there's anything inside there that it can hit. I mean, they're wind charges, and it's all glass on the front, uh, so there's. I don't think she has any trapdoors or anything that'll hit. But I might have to put something in the way just to have avoid avoid it feeling like I'm targeting her. Shape-wise, I did want it to seem like those things could fold over in to this area. So like once you retract the walkway, the asteroid encouragers fold down and tuck themselves into this area. That was sort of the design theory of this shape. But I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying with the space theme. I've not really done anything space themed in Minecraft before. I've not been a player of Minecraft for all that long. I think, what, 3 years? 3, maybe 4 years? During COVID, I think it was late 2020, mid or late 2020 when I actually started playing. So, it hasn't been a decade or so. I don't know everything. But I was looking for just some nice curved, stripy shapes to go with this, and I think I'm gonna progress the spectrum along. I'm gonna do the rest of this with some yellow, green, and blue, and then fade back out to white in the back. In the upper back here, this is going to be a loading dock, a sort of landing area for another little UFO. I love this little UFO. I just took a circle and was like, how can I spaceship it? And it seems nice. It's just got a magma guy in it for the moment. That's one thing I just don't have a good tendency of remembering to clothe all the armor stands. When I downloaded ScarWorld Season 5 and I saw that all across the top of my of the entrance of the library, I was like, oh, he's naked, he's naked, he's naked. They're all missing all the enemies, all the villains. I forgot to dress them up in any sort of outfit, so it's just heads with weapons, and I kind of felt bad. I was like, oh, this was going to be such a beautiful scene of like me doing battle with the guy up here, and I didn't finish it, so that was a regret. And it was a reminder to myself to not try and get it all perfect. You're not going to get it all perfect. But actually here, before we leave this area, before I splatter myself all over the entrance, let's just take a quick view of town. Let me just make a quick minecart. Do. Okay. I do think I need to put a conduit in this river valley to stop the... I think that should stop the drowns. Anyone who knows, please correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I've got like a whole pile of tridents that I don't need anymore, so I don't need any more tridents. But this is going to be the scenic tour. Again, I think it would be nice if it wrapped around Miss Kakapo's dome But yeah, I just wanted something that lets you see. This is Zeppelin Mage's collapsed at whatever they're called. Um, I wanted it to be, just a tour, let you see different stuff, make it interesting. Um, I mean, one of the most fun things about Minecraft is the whole minecarting thing. So there's not a whole lot beyond this spot on the outside. If we zoom out, you'll see that this is a will eventually build in area, hopefully. Also, I may be totally misguidedly doing far too much in this area. I don't know if I'm aiming too high to have all of that area, at least a couple buildings in it. It would be nice to have a few. Because otherwise, all the city is just on one side of the mountain. And I'd love for Luminaria to have like a presence around the whole mountain. But here, these are the farms that Zeppelin and I think Miss Kakapo also helped out with some of these. Oh, she did the big iron farm that we got up here, and we got a pumpkin watermelon farm. We got there was the bamboo upstairs, the sugar cane down here. In fact, I might wrap it around through those to come back. This is the iron farm. And then that is sort of the end of the tour. It's not a very long tour, but in terms of how much you have to put together to get a minecart tour, it can take a lot of work to do all of that. I should know about the whole last season. In fact, I think that's one thing I would like to do is bring us back to that happy place. The happy place. Let's go visit. We're going to go visit the library from last season. And then after that, I'm going to just do some quick example demonstrations of how to produce these curved shapes like the egg and the torus and the radar dishes. Anything round with basic trigonometric or geometric functions are actually fairly easy to do, and it's kind of fun. So I will be back, and we're gonna go to, oh, is it season 5? It's season 5. I mislabeled it. Welcome. So, if anyone remembers this area, oh, we got to give it full shaders. We got to give it the glory of shaders. So this was the library that I made last season, and yes, obviously it is minecartage. And this was another thing that did not quite come out in the world download. I had a bunch of maps here of the area, but I suspect that's something. There were probably duplicates of the maps, so I think they either deleted them or whatever tool they use that reduces the size of the world. It probably did that for them. But this is the front foyer. I don't think I ever got to share this on an actual final live stream when it was finished, so I just thought it would be nice for us to see where some of the time went. I was very happy to add these blocks to the vines. Otherwise, they were just sort of stripy vines, and I think that really livened the place up. Especially towards the end of the season, I started adding some of the indoor plants, and that really made a huge difference. Like just these little plants, I was like, oh, this is it. This is beautiful. I don't know that we ever see them, but there's fishies out there. The whole idea behind making this slightly below water level was that I wanted you to be able to see the fish. Because I was like, oh, it's so pretty when you look out across the water, but you can't really see the fish in the water. Um, and I think that came out very nice. Uh, this is the main entrance. I think I'm going to use um, that archway style in my ship again. I have a little bit of checkered floor inside of the archway, or inside of the new ship. But here is the design that I pulled forward. And in an ideal world, or in a potential future world, it's possible, it could happen, I would love to do an animation of the library, like either disintegrating or coming apart, and its pieces, or some of the pieces, folding up and becoming the new ship for the next season. Um, like have a big dramatic song that like shows all like the roof collapsing, and maybe the spiral could start animating. We'll see what we can do with MineScript and some other things, but we can see up there that was really my first big spiral pattern work. Now the shape of this thing is a model that I used, or it's a schematic that I made really on the first SMP, Fruity SMP. Very nice people there, but it's sort of died down. A lot of toxic trolls come in and whatnot. But I have wonderful memories of the people that were there. And at that time, I said, you know, I'd like to make something pretty. And so this is my first sort of major structure. And it was just clear glass. It was plain glass filled with water. And I decided, you know, if I'm going to bring it to ScarWorld, I can't just bring the old model in. I need to do something nice. One of my regrets, another regret, is that this area down here, in the original world that I built this, it melded nicely into a terrain. But I didn't have that option here because it's off in the middle of the water. And so it goes underneath and actually takes you through. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and try and put some land platform or whatnot there, but I liked this. And getting that swirl, that was a bunch of Python. I was using a mod that I wrote called Earlium, URLIUM, and that would let me fetch commands in and out of the game, so I could send events to an outside web script that could then talk back to the game and then tell it to place blocks. So I could point at a block, click it with a tool, and then that would be like the center point for doing, let's say, a spiral or triggering something, or if I wanted to read pixels from a picture, like I did with this, I could just walk around on the dome and just keep tapping on the blocks in creative mode on my server to sort of render the image into 3D shape. So that was neat. That was fun. And I'm still very happy with this dome. I love that dome. It's a fantastic dome. But this is where this season's sort of roof came from. And you know, maybe like these could be the sides. Like these are just sort of random symbols and stuff. But over here, these particular shapes are, I was trying to explain this on the Final World Tour, and I was like, why did you wait to the Final World Tour to explain any of this? No one's going to have time, and no one's going to pay attention or care. um, but all of these shapes are Conway's Game of Life shapes. If anyone has ever seen it, it's a sort of cellular automata. It was basically things that look like they're alive and express interesting behavior from just very simple rules. And every cycle, there's a test that says if there's 2 blocks next to this block, keep this block alive. If there's 2 or 3, if there's 3 blocks around this block, turn that block on. And if you just keep running this pattern, these things start moving around. Like this is, I want to say this is a glider, and it will move in a repeating diagonal direction. This one is, I believe this is acorn, which is, it's a very simple, small shape, but when you start running the pattern, it just starts creating this huge blob of random chaos. This one I believe flips and toggles between this position and 90 degrees to this position. This just stays there. This just stays there statically. I think these guys just stay there as well. So there's a bunch of them that are just sort of dirt, if you will. Sort of dirt shapes. These two, a horizontal line turns into a vertical line, and it'll just, I call those deedles. They just sort of deedle, 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 right back and forth. And so I put those shapes over there, and then I just made some random stuff here, and I think it would be really cool if I could sort of show a transformation of like this entryway turning, sort of folding up and turning into the ship. But yes, you can see the door should be closed, and then if I do time set day, it should open. And similarly, in here, if I do time set night, the ceiling changes mode, and the columns start glowing, and there's little twinklers that twinkle. There's some redstone ore. There we go. There's a twinkle. And I said, yeah, let's put the hermits in here. And so that took a while. I think that took a month or two to just get around to all of them. And there's a whole bunch of minecart lines that sort of take you on an adventure. Let's see. If I put myself back into game mode survival. West Dock Lighthouse. I don't even remember where I went. Balcony lofts. I think this is connected. Let's see. We're going to learn together and see. Yes. There we go. Yep. And so here I just wanted a way to get up to the sides and be able to walk around. There's snails in here. I think that was sort of at the end. That was just after the Life series with the snails. What was that? Wildlife, I think. I can't remember which one had the snails. Or no. I think I got that wrong. I think I was just doing... no, that must have been. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the timing. It's been a while. But it's all very pretty at night. Takes you back in. Here. We can continue on. I'll take you around. Out this way. I love the color palette. The color palette really made me happy. I think the exterior came out nicely. This takes you. I'm gonna put some more villagers. At some point, I'm gonna be saving the rest of this build for posterity in my personal server. But yeah, I can just feel the exhaustion kind of coming back from from building this thing. It was quite a feat. And yeah, I'm not going to be building anything quite this big again and detailed anytime soon. Um, I think you do this once or twice, and that should be enough. Um, and so that takes you back all the way. Uh, I like this selector because you get to show all of the locations. However, it only goes in one direction, and so now that we have the auto crafter, you can you can use the auto crafter as a sort of keyboard input. And I like that. I like being able to just be able to choose up and down here. This value only goes up, and then it resets when it gets back to here. So if you have anything that you need to go up and down, this is just a dial that only goes one way. So that is the origin of the smiley face picture. And in hindsight, I think I put my face behind this, and you don't ever get to see it. It's sort of upside down. Like when you walk in, I don't know if you'd be looking like this, because that would make sense, because then you can see the whole thing. But I put it like this, and you can't really see like the top of my head. So yeah, you know, the little things. I may flip that around. But I just wanted to get a little quick opportunity to share what I had worked on so relentlessly last season, and I did not have a computer capable of streaming or even really doing any shaders at all. It was a very old computer that I just never really had a need for any heavy gaming graphics until Minecraft came around. Then I said, "Oh, shaders look so nice," and I tried to turn it on, and my machine was like melting itself, and I was like, I guess not." Massive shout out to Mazzy Crafter for all of his plushies, all his people plushies. I love this plushie; is so cute. Um, he made plushies of everybody. I couldn't believe that I found a plushie of me. That was so neat. I really enjoyed that. That was a special charm. Thank you so much. Um, and yeah, and Mazzy Crafter this season has been building some crazy models, and he asked me how I was putting together um, the ones that I was working on, because well, we'll see in just a minute here. I'm gonna hop over to my creative world, but that is a sort of just a rewind, just a really quick rewind to all the naked people. I've started putting pants on them just out of shame, but yeah, I forgot to give them uniforms. The guy's not even got a weapon. I don't know that we can scale items in frames. It would have been great if I could have made that a big clock. I just don't think that is a mod or a part of the feature that works. Oh, You know, I might have been able to put that in an armor stand and then scale it, but I don't know that that worked last season. I'm new to that mod, um, so I'm not sure how much of it was available or if that whole thing worked last season. Um, but this boat was pretty much the last thing that I really put in. I just felt like the place needed a little more life. But that's my old build, and it brings back happy, happy memories. Happy and sad, of course. Life does what life does. So, um, out here, uh, this was very fun to get this south portico. But what was not fun was figuring out what I was going to do for the roof inside of here. Um, and at the end, I really just was like, I want to make it nice. So I had to just manually come up with some coloring, a little bit of cyan and orange for ScarWorld, and of course ancient debris, decorative ancient debris. You can't not have decorative ancient debris. And that is just a quick recap. I know this is season 6 we're on now, but I wasn't really able to stream for most of season 5, and I didn't have a computer that could do it. I didn't have the time to really do it. Oh yeah, there's a there's a music player box in here. So you put a music disc in, and every morning when you wake up, it will play your music disc. So I'm going to put some custom audio on that disc inside there, and every morning I will have a lovely central base maybe for my personal creative world or survival world. I don't know. But I really thought this might be a nice a tribute maybe to offer as like a hub or headquarters or something. If anyone in ScarWorld had wanted, that would have been a thought to make it like part of Spawn or something. It, it it's a beautiful Spawn area, and the light that comes through on some of the shaders. Let's see, what is the other? Yeah, I mean the colored light that comes through some of those is just terrific. So, it's sort of sad to have this be in the past, but I'm also very, very, very proud of it, and I've enjoyed that. So, so let me go ahead and actually, I think I do want to go back to complementary, because what we are going to look at next is how do you make a torus? How do you make a sphere? How do you color that sphere? How do you do this? And I was almost going to use this one because it's got nice twistiness. Maybe I should have, but in just regular mode, I don't know. There was a lot of gaps in the spacing, and then when I packed it together like this, I was like, ooh, I like that. And then I took this and just put a ring in the center that runs through the small axis, and that became this. Now, I obviously did not place those blocks and figure out where they need to be by hand. So what I did was I used MineScript. And to begin with, I had no idea what MineScript was. I knew that I was able to issue commands back to the server using Python and Archon, but I didn't know that MineScript was already a um, built-in command runner. So let me just show you. Let me share that screen here. Do-do-do-do. Let's apply. Da-da-da-da. Okay. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Resize. Make it a little larger. Okay. So MineScript does not do anything particularly amazing in terms of interacting with the game. You still need to come up with the commands that you're going to issue. And what it does is it lets you execute those. And so here, at the end of all this scripting, it's just executing set block XYZ location and then whatever it is that you're trying to put together. So these are some scripts that that I put together, and I will be honest, I used some ChatGPT because I said, I want a parabola angled at this and rotated at that. And let's just say AI LLMs are vastly over glorified, and they're not going to really be replacing actual ability to logic and reason anytime soon. They get a lot of things wrong. You have to repeatedly correct it and say, no, that's not what I want. No, it's not doing that. No, you stop telling me that this perfectly works. It can be very annoying. That can be really, really annoying. What is this? Best viewers on views lower. Rue. Yeah, I don't know who that is. But we're in dangerous and unpleasant times these days, so we can go ahead and omit the .rus. Do I have my Twitch controls up? Let's see. There we go. First time chat. I don't want that. Delete that message. Does that work? No, I don't know. I don't know how to delete a chat message. Can I? Whatever. Anyhow. Let me get back to the game. There we go. Actually, let me turn the weather off because that is going to weather clear. Thank you, Teggy. Yes, okay. So, in the case of this script, this is dish, and I have dish 2. Dish 1 is a traditional round radar dish, and after going through a few iterations and telling ChatGPT it repeatedly does not know what it's talking about, we made some of these, and it would get close, but like this one it's too coney. It's not a dish, it's more like a funnel. This one was just a little too flat. I wanted something a little more curved. And this one, I think, is the one that I used, and that one was just right. Either that one or this one, I'm not sure. One of them. In fact, here, let me demonstrate how this works. Oh, well, you can't see them because I put it right in front of the screen. Let me move that. Well, here, let's see. How can I resize this? Transition. There we go. All right. Okay. So like this, on this side, I think I need to shrink that a little more. I haven't streamed in well over a year, so it's amazing I've gotten this far here. There we go. Okay. So, for example, this script will create. I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% sure that I put the middle center in. It would just trace it out with glowstone, and then I would redecorate as necessary to make it look more radar dishy. But let's see if I scale this up. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. At the top, import, execute, and player. This way we can read information from your player position and import math so we can run some trig functions. And that's really all the initialization you need for one of these scripts. And then to run it, for example, yeah, we'll look at the planet a little bit. I can say backslash like a chat. For some reason, it's not the regular command. It's backslash. I'm going to say dish.py. Oh, what did I? Oh, sorry, just dish. It adds the .py. It also put me in it because, of course, it did. I think there might be a second one, maybe dish 2, where I had it fill in. Let's try dish 2. No, that's the flat one. I'm not sure which script it was that saved it. But here you can see it's taking my position. That's why I was buried in the cold, cold ground over here. And it's calculating all of the blocks from that location. So here, I wanted something that was just, a non-circular one. I wanted something a little more oddly shaped, sort of flat and dishy. So I got rid of most of the exterior blocks here and just went with a sort of rectangular cutout from the inside. And obviously I filled in some of the blocks that were missing, but once it gives you the outline of this, that's all you really need in order to work with it. So now those were just radar dishes. A torus. Let's see here. I'll just go through some of these commands real quick. We get our XYZ location. We set our radius. How deep of a parabola do you want? Step will determine how many degrees around an area it's going to be checking for blocks. And when you're rounding numbers up and down, you tend to run over the same block multiple times. So we'll see further down in some other scripts, I have it checked. Did I already determine what color should go here? If so, don't recalculate anything in that block. So we have data up and diagonal, how many angled up and to the side it should be. These are then based off of that. This is just math class. And if you don't remember this or never did this or don't want to do it, just ask ChatGPT. And at this point, it's really not Minecraft specific, it's just math specific. Like say, I would like, a cube rotated by, 50 degrees this way, 20 degrees that way, and ask it how you would do it. It's really not that bad. But be prepared to be disappointed when it gets it wrong. It will draw garbage multiple times because it doesn't know what you're trying to do. AI is very much overglorified in what it's capable of. But here, this is a set, basically, sorry, neck. This is a list of all the blocks that you're placing. And then this is the actual dish. And we have radius and step for X, for Y. And then, again, all of this is really, it's not Minecraft specific. It's just sort of, if you were going to describe a shape, how would you go about defining each of the points? This is x squared plus y squared. If R2 is greater than the radius, then skip. Oh, excuse me. Oh, crackety crack crack. Z is going to be, so our x and our y is, does it get that right? Yeah, okay. X and y is our x and y. Z, I'm not sure which one this one was. This one was, I think that was this guy. Yeah, so you'll see it's pretty much the same pattern, but with a slight change. So really, y and y is different than x and z. I don't know. I don't quite remember. In fact, I don't think this is the one that made the one with the black edge. Oh no, add rim. Oh, I suspect that. So this is checking if any blocks were already set. And so if it already filled in the edges, then it's not going to do the black concrete. So I might have messed with this script, and then when I was pretty much done with it. Focal beam is figure out from the center and aim outward in the middle. It gave a lot of funky results, but just run it. Ask ChatGPT or any of the LLMs, whatever. Just say, no, this is not correct. Make it different, make it different. I had a bit of fighting to do with this torus. That was a challenge. The script for the torus, this is dish 1, dish 2. Dish 2 was the sort of square dish. And then this one is the torus. So here, again, it's just grabbing your central location. Here's the radius. Oh no, this isn't the torus. No, I saved the wrong one. Let's see. Either 2 or 3. Is it something 3? No, not something 3. Maybe something 2. Let's see. Maybe it's something 2. No. Is it? Is it example? What? Oh, I think that's in a different window. Hang on just one moment. Yes, it is. Let me close it there because it won't open it here if it's open there. There we go. Example. There we go. Okay. So here, let me zoom in a bit so you guys can read it if you want to read it. Echo execute get block and player. Get block lets you read a value from the game. I don't think I'm using that here. And echo, I'm not sure that I'm using echo either. Execute runs commands and player gets your coordinates. So our major radius, uh, the primary size of your torus is 10. So that's from the center to the middle of your donut. And then R4, little r4, is going to be the thickness of the torus. This is, I believe that's going to be used to do the steps. Size major, size minor. I don't quite recall. But here I have a pattern of which blocks I wanted to be scrolling through. I did have glowstone sandwiched between the two white stained glasses, but I found that I really preferred when the light was coming from the center of the torus instead of being wrapped around the outside. It didn't have the same effect. But the one wrapped around the edges was nice to play with. Again, here we have the placed blocks. So this is just a list of every time you set something, add it to the list so we can avoid overwriting what we just did. So here, I and J are, well, they're not quaternionic in this one, but basically if you're doing rotation, if you're doing like X, Y, Z rotation, the turning, not the position, but the actual rotation is generally referred to as I, J, and K, and that gives you your X, Y, and Z flipping around. A torus only has two axes. It has one in the center and then one around the perimeter. So it's two-dimensional, and I didn't remember the particular math formula for trigonometric functions, especially for actually computing the torus shape. I don't remember that. I'm 44. It's been a long time since I was ever asked to do a whole lot of math. So what this is doing is, okay, so here we're using those radius values, and r plus this times that, so it's the radius plus some change. Our y position is just that position with some change because we're laying it flat. So the axis here is pretty much the same from a flat perspective. From a horizontally, it's symmetrical. But if you're looking at it from X or Z, then you'll see that we need to do some cosine and sine. Let me see. I think I have the planet script. Something 5 should be it. Oh, it's in the other window again. Just a second. Open. Thing 5, I believe, is the latest one that I'm using for the planet. Okay, so yeah, so let me go back to this one. So this is X, has a bias, and Z has a bias. We round it to figure out where our block is going to go. Our key is this, and if we have not yet set that position, then set that position. And that was really it. I mean, it's not ultra complex. Oh, this one doesn't have the colors. Oh no, it does. Block pattern and pattern index. So here, as it's going around, it's using its actual position around the torus. The pattern length is how many blocks are in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of blocks. So it's going to divide the index, well, not divide, but it's going to do modulus and say, all right, how many times do we fit 8 into this? And what remainder do we end up with? And this remainder is what we get from the modulus. And this tells us, okay, we're even, or we're at 0, or we have an offset of 1, offset of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 0. And so this is the pattern index determining which block you're going to get. And so here it's 50 lines. It's not that bad. A bunch of it is documentation just telling you what these things are used for. So it's really, it looks fancier and more complicated than it actually is. I think that's the meat of it. And then for my next, the thing that might burn me out this season, I don't know. This is the one that might burn me out. This is a planet, and it's a fully configurable planet. You can set the radius of the planet, you can set the thickness of the rings, and so I've chosen some colors. White, light gray, light blue, cyan, gray, blue, purple, magenta, red, orange I got rid of. So I suspect this is not the latest script. Was there a brown? I think I put brown. I want to say I put brown. Oh no, this is the surface. This is the surface of the planet, and then the rings are later. Again, here it's figuring out how many colors did you choose. And here we are, we're going to be computing the sphere, but we're going to tilt the whole thing by a few degrees. So first we just calculate a regular flat perfect sphere. And then here we use this rotation function to actually tilt the planet. Looks like it's not fitting completely in there. There we go. So with this we can tilt. And again, it's sine, cosine. If you're not sure, let ChatGPT show you what it makes and adjust as necessary. But this function performs the rotation, and then we calculate what that rotation is going to apply. Again, we're just adding to the list and taking note that we might have already covered it, so don't rewrite the same block. Here with the color index, I'm using a Python choice function here to adjust, to say, okay, yeah, it should be blue, but maybe it's one of the other neighboring colors just a little bit. And so this gives us just a softness instead of it being just a strict hard color line. And then that is the index. Again, here's that percent symbol, that modulus symbol. This is the remainder. Index equals the remainder of palette length. So if palette length is 9, tell me what my index divided by 9 would give me as a remainder. And then that remainder, as it moves through, is going to change, and that gives you your color index. So I have stained glass is hard-coded, and then it executes it and runs. Now this was for the surface of the planet, or atmosphere, and then here I have the rings. So 15, actually I've changed it to 20. 20 blocks away from the surface, so there should be 40 plus 20, and so at 60 it will begin rendering rings for 50 blocks out, 3 blocks thick. Everything else is just calculation of what to do. 15 is probably a value I should set as a parameter. But you take that tilt, find the sine, the cosine, and that gives you your complements. And now here's the colors I'm using for the rings. And again, it's a very similar operation, but instead of having to do the full sphere, we're just doing disks. So there's not so much Y operation. It's mostly X and Z. And what little y we're dealing with is really just the thickness. So this isn't quite accurate. Like if it was lined up like Uranus, this would be it would be a different calculation. It probably wouldn't render um, the vertical or the thickness of the rings would not render correctly because it's only treating it with respect to being flat. Uh, Here we have skip if randomly based on fade. So I'm taking, let's see, what is fade? Da, 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 da. Why do I have fade? What is the word fade defined? Oh, there it is. Okay. Fade, we're grabbing the absolute value of the radius and the ring radius, and then we're dividing by the ring width divided by 2. Okay, so it's measuring the thickness of the ring and then dividing that because you need it to fade out, fade in, fade out. And so we only want half of that information. So the absolute value is what's going to give us a value that trickles off at the end. So here, random is being given like 0.1, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. It's being given an increase or decrease of how close something is to the edge. It's not, you're not feeding the function in. It's generating a random number, and we're testing if that number is less than what this sort of curve of I don't want a lot of stuff, I want more stuff, I don't want a lot of stuff. So that's where that fade squared comes from. And we use continue to just skip and go to the next block. Again, here's the tilt. We apply the tilt, and then we apply the block. And so all of this blah, 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 nerd, 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 is, in the end, this. And so we have two examples. The one on the right is the same logic as the large phantom sphere from last season, but I was continuously running into an issue of it doesn't reverse at the halfway point. It reverses like 2/3 of the way down, and I believe that's because it's starting with a tight spiral and then it's decelerating and then going the other way. And I think I just need to change the parameters to make it decelerate halfway down. But this one uses a slightly different pattern that goes one direction on the top, and then there's two reversals. So it goes down, around, and then back. So this just seems to have more, I don't know, it's more planety. Even though this is probably more accurate to something like Planet Venus, from what I've seen pictures of it, this one just gives off a little bit more of a real rotation. I don't know why. Or clouds. I think it's because you get to see this sort of soft curve area a little more clearly from both sides. And that's and that is where this is the one that I chose to use as the new planet model. And I believe, let me see where it's rendered at. TP me to 100, 100, minus 900. Zoop, zoop, zoop. And so, that whole script with the planet and the rings now renders in like this. And it is very pretty. I really like it. I think there is a bit of a visual, what do they call it? What is the option? FOV. Your FOV can make it look like the planet is kind of popping out of the rings instead of being in line with the rings, but whenever you go flat on, you can see that it is correct. But sometimes when you're looking at it like this, it just doesn't look like it's centered. That's because of the distortion from your field of view. It's that sort of anti-fisheye lens effect that you end up with, and I really like it. I think it's going to be a nice build. And the great thing about it being a Python script is that if you just want to mess with it and change it around a little, just rewrite the script and run it again. So here, as proof, as evidence that this actually works, that it actually does anything. Did I hard code the location? I think I did. Oh, no, you know what? I put it in the end as well. So this is what it looks like in the overworld. It is pretty, but as Mazzy Crafter pointed out, it looks so much better in the end. So let's let me find the command to get me to the end on my server here. There we go. And if I turn on shaders, oh yeah, look at that, look at that. I think that's just lovely. And so this is going to be, now obviously I'm not going to build it so close to the center in ScarWorld, but this at least gives me an idea of what I'm in for. I can make it much bigger since there is no ground. I might not want to because I will have to still build this. And even with easy place, this is going to be a large number of blocks and a whole lot of falling off of glass in the void. I'm nervous about what that'll be like in ScarWorld. I've not dealt with the end very much, but yeah, that is the plan for this next season. So, well, not next season, this season. And so that is what I've been working on. And that is how we have a Taurus. It was coded. You can thank ChatGPT for it. You can thank ChatGPT with me yelling at it repeatedly, saying, no, stop lying, don't do this. Da, 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 da. You did the same thing. That made no effect. It doesn't know what it's doing. It's guessing. It's throwing auto-completed nonsense at you. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to know, or to at least be able to see what it seems to be doing wrong. Because it gets so much wrong. Don't trust AI. Don't trust AI at all. All AI requires all humans to be extra, extra, extra vigilant. I've been running some local models on my computer, and you can tell that some of them will gaslight you and say you don't know what you're talking about, or that you gave it the wrong information, when you can clearly see that's not the case. So don't think that AI is smarter than you. It is not. It's useful. It's like it's certainly a calculator and autocorrect on steroids, but it is most definitely not flawless. It is not. Uh, it's not even usually right. It's usually 90% right, and very, confident about that 90%. So, if anyone is ever interested in learning how to deal with those things, I spent I think I spent 2 months fighting with the most obstinate and insulting and condescending and electric boogaloo. Oh. Let's see. What was it? Okay. What page are we on? 18? 19. We're going to go ahead and fill this in. Last stream of day. Walk through Luminaria to show off the town. What else did we do? Revisited season 5. Hermit Hall. To see where the window and things came from. And showed everyone some fancy Python to make planets. And oh my goodness, what timing, what timing. I think it was okay. Some Python. It's not fancy. I shouldn't say it. I think it went okay. All right. I am today, at this moment, right now, the last streamer. This was the end of what was the title of this stream? Is this like the first June stream? I'm not sure if this was the first or second June stream. But happy Pride. Things are crazy out there. Stay safe, everyone. And I very much appreciate anyone who saw any of this, because it's the end of the day and it is like midnight Eastern Standard Time. And it's also the end of my voice, I think. I'm hoping to recover. The whole neck thing has been rather frustrating, and I'm hoping some doctors actually listen to me and take it seriously and offer me a neck brace of some form. I need a fixed neck brace, people. I need a fixed neck brace. A belt and some toilet paper tubes is not acceptable in the United States of America, and this is the best we're getting. Medical rant later. At myself somewhere. Let's go ahead and see what we need to do with this book. There's no one to hand it off to. I'm gonna just put it in here, and yeah, when someone requests it, I will provide. And thank you all so much. It has been a lovely time to be able to get to show some of this stuff off. I will see you all hopefully again soon. I might try and do something this week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with time and space and everything. Um, Shmoo away. Thank you all. Take care. Bye bye.